and welcome to round 2 of the Parenting Roundabout podcast for the week of April 4th. I'm Catherine Haleko, and I'm here with Terry Morrow.
Hello.
Usually on this podcast, we talk about parenting issues, but once a week, Terry and I like to get together to discuss TV, movies, books, and other entertainment topics, because it's nice to talk about something other than parenting for a change. So this week, we finished up with the HBO series, well, the first season. We assume there will be more,
Yes.
The Gilded Age. And these last 2 episodes we watched, 8 Tucked Up in Newport and 9 Let the Tournament Begin, were just a frothy delight, I found. I mean,
Yes.
just like there were some very funny scenes. I mean, there were some dramatic things that happened, and there were some hearts that were broken. But honestly, how could you beat like Bertha being trundled out the back door of Carrie Astor's house in Newport and encountering like not only chickens being plucked, not only a footman having a cigarette, not only somebody cleaning a fish, but all of those things at the same time, as well as like a maid beating a rug. Like it was just, I just enjoyed it so much.
And yet she came roaring back in the next episode, didn't she?
She
From
sure
that ignominious
did.
moment, she had her power ball.
She did. And she basically forced Mrs. Astor to come, and George forced another dude to come, and it was just, and then Mrs. Astor, Bertha made Mrs. Astor make sure that Agnes came. Like it was just, she just went for broke, and it paid off.
High risk, high reward, man. She now also knows Mrs. Astor's Achilles heel, which is her daughter. I guess she's got enough gumption to deny her daughter a suitor, but not a friend and participation in things.
Right.
Anyway, that was delightful. And
gosh,
I was
so much fun.
Of course, well, we're just going to probably be talking about these 2 interchangeably.
Yes, right? I think we have to. I don't think I can.
The ball was such a triumph, and it was such a tickle to see Mrs. Russell get all these people there, and including Miss S. She was just rolling so high, and the whole time I'm thinking, what about the food? What about the food? What about the food? What about the food? Because the French chef had been exposed as a guy from Kansas.
Josh Borden from Wichita, not Monsieur Baudin.
Not really French. So she had fired him the day or right before the ball, which seems like a bad idea. And then the guy she got from the service looked like he didn't really care too much about it. And then later we find him drunk on the table, passing out.
Another just like delightful scene where the butler has to deal with this situation.
I'm like, oh my gosh, is she going to have this whole triumph, and then they're going to go to eat, and there's going to be, the equivalent of Cheetos from the convenience store down the street in bowls. But no, as I kind of figured was going to happen, but thought we might see at some point, the erstwhile Monsieur Boudin was brought back.
Right.
And miraculously made everything fine, and thus was given back his job for being such a good and loyal fella.
Right.
But we didn't see that till the next morning. And so I was just so afraid about the food, and I was very relieved when the ball was over and it was still a success. And I said, well, they must have gotten him behind the scenes.
They must have had some food.
I knew they had gone. That was the note that that Church had written, and that's who they were fetching. But they didn't let us know.
Right.
So.
And there was, continuing butler shenanigans of Bannister versus Church, is there something I need to worry about? Not today.
That's right. Kind of let him know that, so much. We got
a lot happened in these 2 episodes.
We got the slowest burning plot thread of the entire series, and it's still a long way from actually meaning anything. Is Michael Cerveris's butler.
Oh, yeah.
What is he?
He's the valet or something.
The valet has been pining after this woman for the entire season. And he finally spoke to her and she was displeased. And then he saw her at the ball and looked at her longingly. And we still have no the idea what is going on there. But apparently he will just be looking at her longingly throughout the hiatus until we get another season.
And I think, I don't know that it's a love situation because she didn't even recognize him. I
wonder
feel
if
like it's his daughter or some other, long lost something. So yes,
she is not interested in making contact nonetheless.
Yeah. And I'm sure she didn't realize that when she went to Bertha's ball, he was going to be at the door taking her coat.
Oh, yeah. Gosh. So that is a loose end that maybe they'll just milk that along for as many seasons as they have, and we're never going to find out what the heck. Right. But we found out a lot of what the hecks. We found out
Peggy.
Why. Yes, we found out what Peggy's thing is, and it's very sad.
It is very sad.
If indeed the child has been adopted and is happy, as the father suggested, my sympathy for Peggy is matched by the sympathy of the adoptive mom, who's now going to have somebody coming and saying, whoops, no, I never said this was okay.
Right.
So, it's like, well, okay, Peggy, I understand where you're coming from. And this stinks. But if the kid's been growing up with a family for how long now?
Well, and Julian Fellows did this same thing in Downton Abbey twice, like with the same child.
He enjoys this plot point.
Yeah, it's really kind of ridiculous. Like,
do not care for it.
There was a baby who, a secret baby, and farmed out to somebody, and then retrieved from that place and brought to another literal farm, and so that it could be closer to its birth mother. And then eventually the birth mother wrested it away from this other family. It was just like, oh, come on. This is not good for anyone. And you've already done this.
Right. Right. I could have done without. There's many, many, many other things that it could have been about. But and the Downton Abbey didn't have the aspect of the father betraying his child so very deeply. But sticking to his guns, man. He's like, there are no apologies from him.
Nope.
He does what he thinks is right, and you just fall in line. So Peggy and her mother are off to wherever,
Philadelphia,
to find whoever, and good luck to them, I guess.
Yes. I mean, at least Audra McDonald, Peggy's mother, is kind of with her now and trying to help. So
there is much heartbreak ahead there.
And this is after Peggy resigned from working for Agnes because of Agnes's maid being a horrible person, and Agnes being unable to fire the maid.
Right. And also, I don't know if Peggy would wanted to be living there if she did fire the maid, and everybody knows she got the maid fired. I don't know. Although I'm not sure anybody particularly likes the maid.
Yeah, I don't think anybody likes that maid.
I would be not happy to see her go. She's the equivalent of Turner in the Russell House.
Yes. Exactly.
Oh, thank goodness somebody finally found a reason to get rid of her.
To get rid of her.
But I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, and we got a little more of Jack, the footman from the Van Ryns, and a mention of a Wisconsin event, the Peshtigo fire.
Wow, which you know about, right?
I have heard of it. Yes, it was definitely a big tragic thing that happened here. So, and amusingly, they didn't know how to pronounce it. I think Jack was calling it Peshtigo. Yeah. And it's Peshtigo, just for the record.
Yeah. I figured when he was going someplace with flowers, I figured it was going to be a cemetery. Oh, and it's sort of nice to get a little background of him about how really sort of on his own he's been for a really long time.
Right. Because he was 5 when he lost his mother in this fire.
Yeah. But the fire detail Sounds like they were researching this period and they found out about that and they said, oh, let's use this somewhere. Let's see. Who could have lost a loved one in that?
Right.
It just seemed a little, well, okay.
Right. And why did they not just use the Chicago fire?
Right.
They wanted to show off their research skills.
Yes. Or she died in childbirth, or she got hit by a trolley, But okay. So, they pay a lot of money for the research.
Right.
They want to sprinkle it around these real life events.
Yes.
But
then that also gave us Bridget is not so indifferent to Jack after all, because she got pretty jealous when she saw him repeatedly heading out with flowers.
Yes.
I did think it was a little odd too that all of a sudden and he said it's because during the month of her birthday, he brings her flowers every week. Oh, okay.
The rest of the time she can languish in neglect.
Maybe does he go? I don't know. That was slightly odd.
Yeah, the whole thing was slightly odd, but it was a nice little break from scheming rich people. So, give the kids some screen time and a nice little speech. And, bring. I do enjoy that closer together.
On the Go Fug Yourself recaps, they call him the Joey Tribbiani of this show. Because of his New York accent and the way he looks. It's
sloppy hair.
Yes, it's quite apropos.
It really is. I shall think of that now.
Yes.
But and we also
then we had the whole Tom and Marion situation.
Oh, Marion. We could have told you.
Yeah.
Or tried to tell you.
It was right there in the name. Rake.
Exactly. What do you expect? The worst thing about it, I mean, the heartbreak and the humiliation are terrible, but your aunt being right has to be the worst blow.
Yes.
Fortunately, she doesn't know she was right. If she did, there would be crowing.
She doesn't.
Fortunately, it was Aunt Ada who was intuitively in on what was happening.
Right.
But Tom, seriously, man.
So bad.
I don't think I can say my thoughts on a family podcast. But you are not a good dude.
No. And we knew it.
It was so obvious, but he wouldn't just send a note. Well, he said he was going to send a note, but you send a note after you've been missing for 3 or 4 hours.
I know. They said that he was supposed to be there hours ago and she shows up at his office. He's like, oh, I was writing you a note right now. Maybe you could have done that 6 hours ago. I don't know.
Yes, indeed. Oh, golly. That was just dastardly.
And then he says, I hope we can be friends. And Marion should have said, no way, you jerk. But instead, she just I don't like bitterness. Come on, girl.
Yeah.
Speak up.
Fine, baby.
You can yell at him.
Yeah. And then he's there at the ball later and just looks like for a moment he feels as badly as he should.
Yeah. But then he says, oh, I didn't think you'd be here. Come on, man.
She lives right across the street. Well, I guess he may have thought she would be too devastated at his loss to go to a party. But
well, she showed him.
I thought she would be home crying, but that was a little low key thrilling. Where Aurora sees this thing, and then the next day, of course, nothing could be you can't call her on her cell phone and say, "Girl, guess what I saw?" Record him, whispering in the ear of the other girl. You have to wait for the next morning and then get dressed in your enormous dress and take a carriage to her home, and then chase after, go to the forbidden Mrs. Chamberlain's home to see if you can stop her, which she could because he was late. So, well, he was not so much late as a no-show,
right?
But that was kind of exciting.
It was like the Gilded Age equivalent of a high-speed chase.
Yes, it really was. It was very exciting. I will say to our listeners here that you may be hearing drumming in the background and other instruments in a very short time. I live right next door to a high school where the marching band practices in the afternoon. And look, I think you're going to be accompanying us today on the Gilded Age. No string quartet, but a fine brass band.
Do they have a podium?
Enjoy.
And is it big enough? Because
that podium would definitely not be big enough for the marching Mustangs, but still, possibly the wind ensemble could probably go play for them.
Yes, Bertha was quite worried about her podium in her ballroom for the band.
And speaking of like intrigue, this was, I think, in the first episode. The thing with George's stenographer, that was thrilling. That was thrilling, where Marion just happens to see the stenographer who she has previously just happened to see in front of the Russell's house, giving something to Larry. And the lady leaves something behind in Bloomingdale's, and Marion says, "Oh, I know where she works. I'll take it to her," and then shows up and solves the mystery of who was framing George for the train wreck.
That's right.
Oh my gosh. It took me a long time to realize the connection.
Yes.
I know. I was standing.
It all hinged on your remembering that the person who was getting him in trouble was named Dixon.
They said the name Dixon like 10 times. And finally on number 9, I went, oh. My daughter was like, "What are you watching?" I'm like, "I get it. Oh my gosh, she just solved it. She just got George off the hook."
Yep.
Wow. That was thrilling. I just was wondering, well, where the heck is this going? You know?
Right.
That was a nice bit of plotting that they did. That was wonderful. And then, the whole confrontation in the courtroom was like Perry Mason,
Yes. Law and Order, 1882.
Oh, golly. That lady, wow. She was the sort of silent, portly kingpin to the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Unnoticed.
Never,
as the help is always.
Never quite figured out if she was married to Dixon, his brother, or his sister,
they never really made that, or if she's just like he said, "Hey, get me some evidence against this dude and I'll give you my credit card."
Right. And you can go shop at Bloomie's.
You can go buy gloves or a purse.
Mm-hmm.
Treat yourself, babe. I got all this money that I embezzled out of the company. Right. It'll be fine. Wow. That was an unexpected end to that little bit, but I really enjoyed that twist.
Yes. George lives to rob a baron another day.
He does. And he is fortunately in a fine mood for the ball then. He's no longer annoyed with his wife. So, I guess he was a little disappointed that she wanted to fire the cook, but and happy that the cook came back.
Yes.
And he did the day.
And he did the business where the guy who wanted a loan, he basically was like, "Okay, I'll be happy to give you a loan and I'll be happy to see you at my wife's ball."
Yes. That I knew was coming and I was looking forward to it because I heard that name twice. Once amongst the invitees and once amongst the seekers of cash from George. So that was fun. See, they help each other, George and Bertha.
Oh, for sure.
Oh my goodness. And Oscar is advancing his suit of
Gladys
and his boyfriend most displeased.
Yeah, really
not playing along.
Really not happy, but I did
get a little fly in the ointment.
I did enjoy his boyfriend, John Quincy Adams. Showing up in Newport. Oscar did
that was so
not
fun.
expect to see him there.
And he was at the ball as well.
Yes, he was at the ball. Mm-hmm.
It's so fun. He's got a little game, that dude.
Yes, he does. And good for him.
Yeah. Yeah. Why not? Fight for your man.
I did see some speculation somewhere that maybe he's going to marry Gladys. And wouldn't that be delightful?
That would, though. Not so much for Gladys, probably.
Not so much for Gladys, but he seems nicer than Oscar.
He certainly does. Well, he certainly seems less sleazy. So
yes,
looks, Oscar just bleh. Mm-hmm. But I mean, not that actor is not a handsome gentleman, but the character is just
he's smarmy.
He is very smarmy. Does he take after his father, or did Agnes just raise him smarmy?
Yeah. Well, apparently the father was not a nice man.
Oscar is somewhere along the line of somebody you would want to be alone in a room with. So takes after the old man.
Right.
Oh, well, Gladys, you're out now, babe. Good luck to you.
Here you go.
Yep. And now you are officially hooked into society.
Right.
So your mother got all the nabobs to attend your event.
Right.
And you did a cute dance.
You did a dance dressed up as Marie Antoinette while the boys in the dance were wearing fake horse heads. I don't know, but okay.
Alrighty then.
Again, the research department being like, no, they have to wear horse heads. That's what everyone did. Okay. If you say so.
Yep.
So all in all, this was highly entertaining, I would say.
Yes. I enjoyed it very much. And, look forward to the inevitable. Surely the inevitable season 2. They left too many loose ends for it to not happen. So,
yeah, and there's so many Broadway actors.
Yes,
there's more they haven't even met yet. So
right, or have barely met. So it will be interesting.
How about Ariana DeBose? I mean, she just won an Oscar. She can get in on this.
Yeah, I'm sure there would be a place for her someplace. Yeah, good for her, by the way.
For winning that Oscar.
Very many wins on the Oscars that I enjoyed.
Yeah,
I did not actually watch it. I followed on Twitter. Did anything of interest happen?
You sound like Amy Schumer.
Anything particularly happen there on that?
There's a vibe.
Yeah. It's just a very calm, quiet night.
We're talking about this rather after the fact, but
yes.
I'm proud of us because for the last 2 years, we have actually watched and discussed the Best Picture winner here on round 2. So
studios, if you have a movie you want to give a little up for, we're 2-0. So
follow us.
So, a little kickback. We'd be happy to watch your movie. Sure.
So now that we are done with Gilded Age for the time being, although we will look forward to returning when it comes back, we decided to move from a somewhat serious in places costume drama to a more frivolous one, which is Bridgerton.
Bridgerton
season 2. We had watched season 1 back in December of 2020. I for some reason was thinking it was 2021, but no, it was over a year ago that the first season came out. And so now we are going to get back to it. Season 2 focuses on a different Bridgerton child, this time Anthony.
Yes, especially since I think the husband of the Bridgerton child who married the last time is not on the series this year. So
he is not.
Yes, he declined to participate, I believe.
Yeah, or just, it was always intended that each season focuses on a different.
Yeah, based on the books that do that.
Right. So anyway, so that's Bridgerton. It's on Netflix. And so we'll watch one of those every week. And then we're going to pair it with a contemporary, quirky murder mystery, kind of reminiscent, I think, of Only Murders in the Building, which we watched pretty recently. And that is called The Afterparty on AppleTV Plus. So we'll do one of each of those two. And I think that will be a lot of fun.
Okay.
And that's going to be it for our round 2 today. Please subscribe to our Parenting Roundabout podcast so you won't miss any of our episodes. We have something new for you every weekday. As always, you can find recaps, links, and an opportunity to comment on our website at parentingroundabout.com. Bye, Terry.
Bye, Catherine.
Bye, everyone.